Hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping by to this evening stream here. Queuing up in the St. Petersburg arena. For those of you who don't know the game St. Petersburg, it is a card-based engine building game. Pretty straightforward in its rules and not super complex. At first, it feels like this is a high luck game, but as you play it more, it gets significantly less luck based. Let's see. This doesn't have that much information, does it? I was hoping for more, but I do have this Board Game Geek page, which says that we're investing in infrastructure and managing cash wisely. Not sure how good that is. So basically, we have a board to tally victory points, and we have four types of cards. We have the craftsmen, sometimes called workers. We have the buildings, sometimes called buildings. They're just called buildings. The aristocrats, sometimes called nobles, and then unique cards called upgrade cards. So we will be trying to collect these four types of cards in order to have a tableau that's generating money and generating points. These money and points get credited and scored every round, every stage of the game. So you're just trying to get money to buy more cards with, because each card has a cost. In rubles, we play St. Petersburg with rubles. Hey, that's a game. I recognize HP Shovecraft and Bahram Yu as other players high in the arena standings and the overall board game arena ratings, so should be a highly competitive game. So this is the craftsman phase, the worker phase. I start this phase. Soiled Bottom starts the blue phase, which is the building phase. Bahram Yu will start the nobles phase, the aristocrat phase. And HP Shovecraft will start the upgrades phase. The top left has the cost. Sometimes you can lower the actual cost. The effective cost is shown as the same here. And then plus 3 rubles generated at the end of each working round. If I had a choice of which seat I would like to start at, I think Bahram Yu is in the best position by a fair bit. Starting aristocrats is very strong. Additionally, as you play competitively, starting workers in round 3 is quite good, and these all rotate clockwise. These start randomly, but rotate clockwise every round. So, if you all noticed, all the workers have an income of 3 rubles. They just have different costs. So I have a ruble advantage on all of my opponents by differing amounts, but it's not a huge one, and we all get to guarantee our 6 income at the end of each worker phase. At the beginning of a St. Petersburg game, you are trying to get a lot of cash flow. I already have a little bit of a decision here. What the normal play would be, and what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put it... Oh my gosh, no. This is funny, Rainier, but I am not going to take a library right now. I'm going to add the market into my hand. And what I'm doing when I take a card into my hand, this is an option instead of buying or playing immediately, is holding it in my hand. Everyone's hand has three slots that you can just reserve for playing later. And the advantage of this is that I am opening up a slot to get myself a noble in this phase, because the cards only fill to as many open positions there are on the board. I like what Soiled Bottom did by not opening up a noble spot for themselves. They have an observatory, which is a special card to get 1 extra card of any type per round. Got very lucky to draw the cheapest green card. Bahram Yu is taking a customs house, so they get to open up a 4th slot of the upgrades pile. Everyone's play is quite fine here. Bahram Yu has a decent advantage by having a judge here. Let's see. One important part of St. Petersburg scoring is unique aristocrat types, unique noble types. Getting upgrades of orange cards is very strong, because if you can get, there's like triangular scoring, as math people would call it. You get a lot of bonus points by diversifying the types of nobles you can get, and the upgrades are one of a kind. So the Weapon Master is quite good. But I think this early... Oh my gosh, Chefcraft takes a weaving mill. I was eyeing up the bank. The bank provides 5 income. And I was talking about... But this is a great upgrade phase for everyone. This is the dream of when you open up a 4th slot to get a nice building upgrade here. Because there are some pretty crappy upgrades, especially if there's an upgrade of a certain worker type you don't have yet. Though I guess Bahram Yu had the one worker that can be upgraded to anything, so I guess that makes his opening, or their opening of an upgrade slot, better than usual. Early bank is very strong, yes. Though Soiled Bottom opening up a worker spot for themselves. One thing I have underestimated slightly as I play more and more of this game is point production from buildings, even early. I think I don't do quite enough there. Okay, so the Fur Trapper's cost is 6. I'm buying it for 5 because when you get a secondary item of something you already have, you get to have a discount of as many items of that type as you already have. You always have to pay at least 1 for something, no matter what. So there is that floor of the cost. But I make my 9 rubles here. Soiled Bottom making 15 already, getting the Lumberjack and 2 workers that phase. Observatory coming out is very good for them, but what's actually nice for me here is that I can have no pressure opening up a noble slot for myself because the warehouse is so cheap. It's always totally fine to take one of the very cheap buildings. They're all... Wow! I'm not going to say anything, but this is incredibly lucky. My current stance on use of Observatory is that you should always use it for aristocrats every round. Because the downside to observing the worker deck and just getting the expensive stuff is it's quite wasteful. And to just hit 2 of the cheapest workers, the workers price range from 3 to 8, there's only 1 of the 8s. This is very lucky for Soiled Bottom. And someone else took the warehouse for me. I don't even have to take it. My hand is clean. I have my bank out already. This is good. Hey, Heroic Logic. Yes, indeed. I've had St. Petersburg on my waiting screen as a possibility. Decided that today was as good a day as any to start up. Let me know if you have any questions on the rules, but in general, it's just a straightforward engine builder. Scoring rubles in terms of the silver coins, scoring points in terms of the golden shields. I do have enough money, thanks to the bank, to just put this warehouse manager straight into play already. I'm first on upgrades. I'll take the better one of the 2 that are currently flipping. So even though Bahram Yu has an early judge, I've kind of countered that disadvantage with getting an early bank. Soiled Bottom has a ton of money income, which is a little concerning, but not the worst thing. I'm going to be 3rd on workers, which means the wharf is somewhat reasonable, but if I'm taking a money-focused upgrade, the harbor's not great here because I already have the bank, but can't be that bad. I am going to go pretty heavy on expensive blue cards in the second half of this game because my money production is just now really, really strong. I'm going to want to get the harbor in play. The second way to have cards discounted, apart from being on a duplicate of what you already have, is if they're on the bottom row, which is sometimes referred to as the discount rack. So right now this hospital costs 13 for anyone, and discounts do stack. The incomes are displayed stage by stage here. Chefcraft taking a firehouse seems okay. Is that to open up a worker slot for themselves? Yeah, they're trying to open up a 6th slot of workers. So what'll happen at the end of this stage is that all the discount racks that don't get taken get trashed. So the new discount rack is only too big. I did not open up a secondary worker slot for myself because I don't think that holding up my hand for like a shipbuilder is worth it for me. The 7 cost. It's pretty expensive. Bar MU, for example, not even taking it. I could take it here into my hand, but I don't have enough money. I do get to be second on buildings here, and I am first on nobles, so I'm the only one who will want to open up the first slot. What I really want to see is a pub. Oh, and a Potemkin's village. Okay, so Shovecraft should take one of these two, and I'll take the other one. If I have to decide... This is very close. So Potemkin's village makes my harbor ultra cheap. Can't really lose here. I think I would take Potemkin's all else equal, even though Soiled Bottom would make very good use out of a pub with all these workers. Customs house. I'm gonna take the one that gives me 4 rubles right now. Shovecraft taking Customs House means that I don't have any other way to make my harbor cheaper. I was gonna consider taking the harbor for 7 and then upgrading it to... Sorry, the Customs House for 7, 8 minus 1, and then putting the harbor into play, but this is 4 rubles cheaper, so this is the description of the Potemkin's village there. My situation is very similar to Soiled Bottom's situation, except I have 2 nobles in play already, even though it's only 1 type. Okay, let me get this harbor down. Okay, so I'm first on nobles this round, which means if I take a market into my hand, I can get 2 nobles. That seems like a good thing to do. It does jam up my hand pretty hard, but jamming up my hand isn't actually a huge deal when my money income is so good. I'm making 28 rubles across the 3 phases, which is as good as anyone else. I like my position here. I'm still a little scared of Barem, now has the St. Ike's in play. Making 20 and 5, has a 3-point lead on me. I'm making 28 and 3. Alright, so the highest thing I could put in play right now is the warehouse manager, but I'm absolutely not taking it. I'm taking this mistress. It's sad that I don't get to play it immediately, but I'll have it in play for at least 2 rounds if I get it into play next round. I definitely have the money to make that happen. And then I'll be able to play whatever I get 5th. It's going to be an author. Still want to move high into buildings, but having the Mistress of Ceremonies is the best card in the game. Having the Judge in round 1 is better than having the Mistress in round 4. But I have the Bank and a Harbor down in rounds 1 and 3, so sorry, 2 and 3, so I'm doing pretty okay. Let's see, I have a hand slot going into the upgrade phase. I'm not going to have the last upgrade. I think everything's okay. Alright, out of this upgrade stack, my favorites are the Patriarch and the Fur Shop. It's a little late to be going for the buildings with higher income focus than points focus. I think my upgrades would have ideally been the Harbor in round 1 and the Smolny Cathedral in round 2, something like that. Unfortunately, both Nobles upgrades go. I'll take the Fur Shop first choice, second choice Smolny Cathedral here. Shovecraft shouldn't be taking the Fur Shop. They don't have a thing that can upgrade to a Fur Shop. Fur Shop adds 2 points onto a Fur Trapper, which is a nice thing I want to be doing right now. I do prefer points to rubles here, having set up my ruble situation quite nicely. Let's see, there's going to be 6 slots next round. I'm second in workers. So I could get 2 workers if I wanted. Almost certainly don't, but most of the expensive workers have, or a lot of them have been hitting the table already. All right, so the gold miners are discounted for me. Yeah, Shovecraft would rather take a shipbuilder than a fur trapper, right? So I do got a fur trapper at the end here. So Shovecraft's shipbuilder will only cost 4 because he already has 3 of them. Let's see, if nobody else wants a fur trapper, I will just take another one for 3. Wow. This is an interesting turn of events. I like how this is going. I can afford to do this and then put the fur shop into play. I'm first on buildings, so I can just buy the theater? Maybe? See, I'm gonna have 28 rubles. I'm making 10 in the phase. Wait, no. So 24, making 10. I want 18. So I can afford the library first turn here. Oh, the pub. I'd rather have the pub. Yeah, this is fine. I'm probably going to have to play both the pub and the market this round. I'll aim for playing a bunch of markets instead of the one library. The one library is a great deal, but I don't think I can... want to pass on the pub. Right, so observed an author hasn't observed. Oh, both of them observed. Draws a secretary. Okay. Who has the warehouse? Bahram has the warehouse. I'm very much tempted to play a library here. even though it means I can't take a noble if a slot opens up. I don't think a slot is opening up. This is the second to last round. The game ends on the round where a stack is exhausted. Both the workers and the buildings pretty certain to run out next round. So my plan is to just not open up a noble slot for myself. I have exactly the right amount of cash to put the mistress into play at the start of this noble phase, and I'm going to do that. Shovecraft needs to buy another building, I would think. Shovecraft has 3 points and only 3 noble types? Yeah, your channel credits were totally honored. I don't even have to refund them now. Yo, Blackjack Davey, what's up? Yeah, this game's going pretty well. I got a bank in the first upgrade phase. Got a harbor in the second upgrade phase. Spiked a mistress when I was first in nobles last round. I was too busy playing the harbor, which is fine. It's basically a judge. Have just enough money to pump out the mistress here. Making 21, 10, and 13 rubles, 2, 8, and 3 points. 1 round to go. All I need is a noble upgrade. And I'm going to be third upgrades here, second upgrades at the end of the game. I have my pub. I have my points situation more or less figured out. My points production is 13 a round, which is higher than anyone else's. I'm already in the points lead. My biggest concern has to be Bahram U getting huge variety in nobles. Big Blue into the baddest bee in the game. That's right. Well said. Yeah, I feel like all my plays have been pretty correct so far. That market doesn't do anything as far as I can tell, except throw in another chance for Bahram to get a noble upgrade while they are first in the queue. And they do find a taxman. That's almost certainly what they want. A first shop would be great for me, but I don't think I'm going to get it. Oh, actually, no. Shovecraft doesn't need one. I'm getting a first shop here. Blue upgrades, as a rule of thumb, don't have enough value in the last round to be worth taking. Technically, the Hermitage is the same as the library for me if I had enough pub. The reason being, Hermitage gives 1 point less and 3 coins more. Costs me 1 ruble, so I'm netting 2 coins minus 1 point, which can be undone by the pub. However, I'm just going to take a discounted first shop, which is a better deal. I have 54 rubles to play with this game for the rest of this game. 44 income, 10 in supply. So I actually don't want to be making that Hermitage trade even if I could. Me taking the first shop there confirms that the game will be ending, but that probably wasn't going to surprise anyone. Soiled Bonham taking a Hermitage. I'm not sure that's a great way to spend rubles at the end of the game. The best thing about how my game has gone is that I've been spending down pretty much all my rubles every phase into good things. This gold miner is net a ruble for me. This is a situation where you'd consider taking a blue card instead of a worker, just because there are limited opportunities here on out to get points, and indeed Soiled Bottom takes a blue. I wouldn't be surprised to see the others take one as well. Though Bahram's money situation is pretty tight. Compared to money powerhouses, which are us other three. There's actually very high money for typical St. Pete. So I should definitely buy 2 points for 7 rubles here, I would think. 32, 42, 32, 31, 27. Yeah, I have way too much money. I can spend down to 0. All right, so there's an interesting strategic point here. I technically could legitimize taking these 2 fur trappers for 4 and 3. The reason being, I'm second on upgrades and I badly need a noble upgrade. Six, other 8, 10, 12, not 16, not 17, 18, 24. 6 out of the 10 noble upgrades are still in here. The problem is if I do this now, I'm opening up more noble slots for everyone else. So I think that's too much of a cost. So 6 out of 15 is 40%, but the chance of getting at least 2 noble upgrades out of X when the starting chance is 6 out of 15, that's a calculation I don't know how to do in my head. That's the type of math that I might learn before going into a St. Pete tournament. So you have 34 rubles, yeah. Soiled Bottom finds the second mistress. I'm not sure I should actually play this market. It's only 1 point. I do need to open up 1 more slot to get another noble. I think my chances of finding the 7 cost noble are decent here. Along with the 14, I don't think more than 1 or 2 7s have hit the table out of 5. I don't think I've seen any of the 14s. I think all 3 14s are still in this 7 stack. Here's where I'm going to take a fur trapper into hand. I should have done this in the first place because there were only 4 buildings to play. So taking something out of play in the worker phase in this game was the same as taking it out of play in the building phase. Noted. I have enough rubles to afford this. The rubles convert to points at the end of the game at 10 to 1. So you don't really need to try to get points off it that way. So 60%, I'm going to try to do the math. Okay, so I'm gonna get a noble I want. Whether it's the 14 or the 7. This is 5 rubles for a point here. The cost is 7 different. It pays back 2 different. I have enough cash for it. I mean, I look like I'm in a good spot here. I feel pretty good about this. I will, of course, just take whatever's available. Alright, so now I have 20 rubles. There's 3 slots opening up. Oh, but I need at least 2 of them to be noble upgrades? Yeah, it's probably not happening. This cost me 9 to get in play, so I have 20 rubles. I only actually have 11. So I'm going to grade my chances at getting an upgrade I need as not great, because I can't actually afford the Tsar, which costs 24. And that would mean I have to spend 14 on it. Overall, pretty happy with how I played this. I've played so many games of St. Pete and thought about situations pretty deeply, and yet this fur trapper at the end here is something I feel like I haven't seen before. Sometimes when you get deep into games, you have to really appreciate the smallest decisions. So like here, I can't take the Tsar. Right? Yeah, I can't spend 11 on this. That had to be any of the other 4 aristocrat upgrades in here. So this was an ultra edge case. Even if, let's see, if Bahram gets 7, 27 plus 28 is 55. That is going to beat me. I'm only scoring 52. $34, if this is 6, that's also 55. Yeah, maybe I'm just not winning this. Oh, and is it really just the smallest difference if I had taken the fur trappers at the end of the last workaround? What a bummer. I could deny the Tsar to them. So what I'd be getting is 5... I'd be getting 4 points minus 5 points because I'd have to let a card die in my hand. So I'd get my noble points from 10 to 15, but I'd spend a point of rubles and lose a dead card. But I think Soiled has a 6th regardless. Yeah, they do have a 6th. Three rubles short. I guess I could have denied the Tsar by upgrading the Mistress, but that throws away a point also. Well, so I was able to count the number of noble upgrades, and 6 out of 15 is a very high proportion compared to usual. So it was a risk worth taking. It looks like I'll come in second. Well, definitely a strong table. Shovecraft has a rating over 500. I'm obviously the one thinking more than everyone else. Someone... Well, so the thing is, I ended up taking a fur trapper into my hand in the building phase, and I could have just bought it in the worker phase to lose a ruble immediately instead of losing 4 at the end of the game. Typically that doesn't matter much, but with there already being an empty space when the building stat came into play meant that the timing of my taking it didn't matter. Losing to the player that hit a very lucky observatory game doesn't feel the worst. That's true. 2 lumberjacks in the first 2 rounds, just observing workers and observing the mistress late for guaranteed variety. Right, because if I have 3 more rubles, then I win. I get 4 more points. This game goes on the slimmest of margins sometimes. But that's actually a very good game from Soiled Bottom. I would have been crying in that opening position, being second on workers, 4th on nobles in round 1, 3rd on upgrades. That's like the nightmare. That's actually the nightmare. I would choose that starting set of positions number last. I don't think there's any set of starting positions I'd like worse than what they started in, so good job for them. Didn't lose to the round 1 judge either. Yeah, I mean, if this game didn't have as much weight as it does, I wouldn't be playing it right now. The fact that I can still learn stuff from positions just like that one, like, that's great in terms of how deep the game is strategically. Alright, so what else am I doing this stream? I'm gonna try to play another St. Pete, but if not, there is the little issue that my 7 Wonders rating is currently inactive. So I probably want to fix that. This arena queue does look kind of dead, so maybe let's look into a simple game for a 4-player 7 Wonders, because the arena is currently 3-player. Could also just make one. I don't make enough tables for having a premium account. Old edition, choose Wonder side. 4 players. There are so many 7 Wonders players that people should be joining this one. This is my favorite format. Old edition, 4 players. I'll join anyone else's as well if I see a match. And if this takes surprisingly long to queue up, then I'll go back to the St. Petersburg Arena matchmaking. Well, this is the slowest I've ever seen 7 Wonders on this site. 7 Wonders player base is so huge. Alright, and queue is getting smaller. Let's click that St. Pete again. Rainier playing some Railroad Inc. Fun. I don't have any idea what that is. Beta game. Not great? Okay. It's good to know now. Don't have to try it. Rollin' Rights. Good old Rollin' Rights. I am not a fan of Rollin' Rights either, though that could just be not learning them deeply enough. I think for me it's really, am I interested enough in the game to learn it more deeply? And if so, does it actually have enough substance? Tiny Towns feels... Oh, well, I actually don't like the roll and write variant of Tiny Towns, but the Tiny Towns variant where everyone's calling their own favorite thing in turn order, that I do like. Right, because there's like two modes of Tiny Towns. One where if you want the game to go quickly, you can just choose the thing that comes up from the stack, but you could also just play it as it is in the rulebook, where everyone calls the resource for everyone to get. And in that mode, it feels a lot like Agricola Light to me, where you're like really like a hawk trying to observe what other people are doing. And I think one of the points of roll and write is that you don't have to pay attention to what everyone else is doing, right? And I think that might be something that both you and I might not like as much about them. Let's see. If this goes on that much longer, I might just click into the Terra Mystica queue. Unsurprisingly, not getting a ton of viewers to watch the Board Game Arena loading page with me. Could run some Geoguessr, but my computer doesn't like it that much. I'm just glad the St. Petersburg queue worked for one game here. It is not the most popular game on the site, so sometimes can be hard to find an arena game. Was not this time. Alright, let's click this. And if a Terra Mystica game starts, I'll throw out the word to some people and get more people watching. I expect this queue will be easier to join. All right, yeah, we're gonna do some Geoguessr here in the meantime. And watch out for this like a hawk, because I don't want to start a game and just miss out. Okay, so let us play a diverse world here. Or country streak. Maybe we'll do a country streak. Spent a lot of time one night last week, got my country streak up to 81. can feel the lag from here. Arrête. This seems French. That also seems French. Autobus Victoriaville. Okay, why would this not be France? Very few reasons for this not to be France. Got stuck on a side street there. Francs? Is that good enough reason to just go with it? I'm pretty confident already. Aha, well that would be a reason. Victoriaville is in Quebec. Those dirty Canadians. And now we're on a boat. Saint-Martin. Oh, well, there's a flag. Is that the Austrian flag? It is. Of course this one's France. Excuse me. There's an Austrian flag on your bridge. That's the Seine. Oh my goodness. This is a disaster. How are these going? Both looking for 2. Okay, so we've got water to the north. Very mountainous and rural. With water in the north. It feels a little Greek to me. But yeah, there's not much this way. Let's go back to the start, see what's in the other direction. Which way was the other direction? No, this is the way I went. Did that building have any signs on it? I don't think so. All right, I'm desperate for signs or words. O and K. That means nothing. Okay, we are on the water now. I don't recognize that rock, unfortunately. Is this building gonna have any words on it? Or is it just a random building on the coast? We have a random building on the coast. Imagine that. Have to say, I didn't expect the Terra Mystica queue to be like that. Alright, so we have no information here. This is... I've already whiffed on 2 streaks. We're just going to take a guess that this is Greece. Alright. Very glad to get that one. I don't think I was even close to any identifying information. Of course I get that one to start. Okay, so it looks like there's some good information up here. Language looks almost Spanish, but that doesn't mean that much. I think that's a Romanian flag. So if it's not a Romanian flag... I'm gonna keep looking. Things that would help me are... Okay, well, that's a... Yeah, okay, that looks Romanian, which is just the backside of that bus on a different frame. Let's look for a few more signs to get agreement. Euro truck could be traveling anywhere in Europe. That's not especially helpful here. I'm like 90% sure this is Romania. Yeah, that looks extremely Romanian. .ro. Big blue sky. Sun is in the south, so we're in the northern hemisphere. Nice mountains. Do I recognize them? No. My first guesses are US or Canada. Russia has fewer of this type of mountain. We're now traveling northwest here. All right, what is this sign for? Well, this place is very nice. Box Creek. We are near Box Creek. I'm guessing in Western Canada, but that's just intuition. I don't know where that sign is from stylistically. I'm not sure I could tell the difference. Destruction Bay, Yukon. I have heard of that. Destruction Bay. So not that I need to be this precise here, but just for fun. Like, we are somewhere on this stretch of road. It's basically exactly where my cursor was. Alright, next one. We're down to 1 opponent needed in Terra, even though it says 2 now, so that might have been a fake out. This is .co.uk, so we can just stop looking. The websites are pretty much guaranteed most of the time. Scrolling around here, I think I already know where we are. This language is pretty unmistakably Turkish to me. Yeah, the Z's, the G's, the order of things. Let me just try to find some confirmation here. Erdogan, Lar. Okay, well, that's enough for me. So there's a building out there we could probably go to for more information. Don't see any other good leads. Am I allowed to go that way? I am not. And that building is a lot less impressive from this angle. Okay, so we are in nowhere. Okay, so that looks like a road people are actually driving on, which means it's a good goal to try to stretch out and get onto. Managed to do that, thankfully. Does that say Quetzal Preserve in Spanish? I think it does. All right, let's see what this sign is. All right, well, it's nice that the road shield has Mexico on it. Aguas Calientes and La Guayana. Can I find that just for fun? Aguas Calientes. I actually don't know where that is. It's in the middle. Aguas Calientes, near León, Guadalajara, and San Luis Potosi. Next, there's a jardineria, which means it's Spanish speaking, unless I'm mistaken and it's Portuguese, but probably right on that. This looks very Spanish to me, but I mean, I'm just sometimes wrong. Okay. Looks like there's more city over here. Chicharrones. Via Progreso La Fe. Okay, so pretty sure we're in Latin America. This doesn't feel like Spain to me. But then where in Latin America are we? That's like 10 or 15 different countries this could be. Can I look at this? That's a .com. Unfortunate. Ooh, telaris.com.do. So we're in the Dominican Republic. We are in the Dominican Republic. Fascinating. Is that going to show us a DR flag? Yes, that one is a Dominican Republic flag. There we go. In Santo Domingo. Alright, we're driving on the left. It looks tropical. Probably Australia. McIntyre Road. Where's the sun? I want the sun to be in the north. This is Australia. The sun's right above. No help there. This way looks interesting. These queues, man. Coronation in McIntyre. Traffic circle. Still think this is Australia. But definitely want more evidence of something. This bus might have the information I want. Where'd you go, bus? Why did you disappear? Oh, I hate that that bus disappeared. Okay. Postal services. That actually looks UK. Naomi and Bill Kirk Park. All right, what's on this bus stop? Manjer Bridge. Okay, so that's probably where we are, is a place called Manjer Bridge. Priority lane. I don't recognize that. ASB. Is that Australia something something? Australian Standard Bank? Is that a bank? That's my leading guess. Still not enough evidence for me. If we go north, is there water here? Yes, there is. This looks nicely built out. There's a freeway. We're gonna find where we are. If we can get to it, which we can't from here. Okay. That police car could have the right information for me. Not visibly. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the start, try to get onto that freeway. Which I'll do by going the other way to start. It's a nice big road here. You always want to get the roads bigger as you advance. That'll help you figure out where you are. I still can't distinguish between Australia and New Zealand for this. I'm fairly confident it's not South Africa. Titoki Avenue is the kind of name that makes me think this might be New Zealand. Matapuri, now that's sounding very New Zealand. Now, am I ever going to find that freeway we saw going the other way? Can't say for sure that I'm going the right direction for it anymore. I did just overclick. All right, well, I think my confidence in New Zealand has skyrocketed since seeing the street names here. These sound a lot more Maori, which would be native New Zealand. Yeah, okay, we'll go for it. I would guess that it's my Terra Mystica game that... oh, both of them are one away. Still don't know what I'm playing next, and we are just outside of Auckland. Hills/mountains with no trees on them. Slightly interesting. What's on these signs, huh? Our tradition, our passion, something autonomous, something municipal. San Miguel de Ibarra. Gobierno Autónomo. Decentralized autonomous government, municipal government. San Miguel de Ibarra. Well, I have to admit I don't know where that is. San Miguel de Ibarra. I feel like it's Argentinian or Chilean. The sun is there, which doesn't help us determine northern or southern hemisphere. Oh, looks like I'm in a game. So I can X out of this and come back to it later. All right. Now I get to say in the Discord that I'm streaming. It's fun. Okay. Terra Mystica time. Let's see. Wanted to do something. Playing against Mr. Leech, Capetta, and Galaquani. Galaquani says scared about playing high-quality opponents. I don't know. I'm more inclined to clown here. But it is Terra Mystica time. Loon Lakes, Landscapes. Round 3, Digs. Round 4, Towns. Big Buildings, Round 5. Trading Post, Round... Big Building, Round 6. Trading Post, Round 5. Repeats on Air and Earth. Water Spades in Round 1. Missing Trading Post Passing. Missing... 6 coins, missing 4 coins. And a Cult Step. So a bit of a low coin game. Mermaids in seat 1. We do have Landscapes on. Engineers seat 2. Lots of Engineers this season, this early. Engineers are a very strong faction. Let's see. How good are my opponents? 345, 496, 282. I mean, this looks pretty friendly to alchemists. Mr. Leech is good. Yeah, the ratings suggest that me and Mr. Leech are on a tier higher than the other two. But, I mean, anything could happen, especially with less known maps. I often like picking tougher to play factions when there are lesser rated players in the game. I'm a fan of playing alchemists. The tiles look relatively good for them. The round order looks okay for them, not spectacular. Black, blue, gray usually invites yellow into the game. And there are the Fakirs. Oh, my favorite, the Fakirs. Their landscape is just really good. So the Fakir's biggest problem here is that they're going fourth. But if everyone else rushes Earth 1, and they might, then this has a really good shot at being a successful two-temple Fakir's game. Engineers getting the first bid is reasonable. They also do quite well in low coins. The doubled Earth is good for them in rounds 3 and 4. Towns in round 4 is their natural time. I'm not sure where this bidding's supposed to end up. Both ship tiles are in the game. That's a slight detriment to Fakirs. But they do have the Priest and the Spade tiles, which they like plenty. Opening pass goes either Spade or Big Building, followed by Big Building or Priest, or Spade. I don't actually know what Alchemist shipping requirements are here, but it looks like 2. 1 or 2 could be the magic number. Let's hurry up the bidding a little. So I think I will try to do something a little weird here. Just to keep in theme with my goal for Terra Mystica, streaming some variety. Playing some funky lines. Good, good. The engineers are dropping fast. Alchemists and mermaids are the color neighbors here. Both like to expand fast. Alright, where are the opening placements? Mermaids almost always take this one, right? Oh, sure, we'll just turn on everything. We're a viewer-friendly stream here. Mermaids, I don't think I was considering. Even in seat 1, they can get the double dig if they want. So, let's see. Engineers are pretty guaranteed to start here. C4. Alchemist B4 is very nice for them. I mean, Fakirs on D4 seem pretty good. Try to beat engineers to C3. Oh yeah, I should change my title. Thanks, Crix. Okay. Not sure what I like after engineers here. All right, so yeah, D4, E4, C4, B4 are all incredibly likely in my estimation to be taken as opening placements. The risk on Fakirs is going to be E5. Not having E5 is a problem. A pretty major one. Not being able to make a town out of the D4, D5 zone is going to suck. Could very easily see D7, E6, F7 be an opening set of positions here. The bonus tiles are very intriguing for this opening, too, because they could break in so many ways. I disagree with this mermaid's bidding. Well, at least what I can say now is that I've done all my supposedly random time streams. I don't have to ever do them again, and I've fulfilled my word. Gosh, double temple fakirs still have so much potential here. With no one really looking to take A5 or A7, being on C3 would be so huge. It really depends on opening placements, though, and right now I'm paying maybe a bit more than I want to be engineers here. Especially because I really don't know what the dig situation is. Lots of things could happen in round 1, as all of these factions would do well to take Earth 1. E5 is a big deal. If engineers take temp ship over something like worker power or 2 workers, They have a really good opening on the map, but they're not exploiting their round one scoring quite as well. E6 feels like a good engineer's hex. Opening C4, E6 is probably pretty strong. Pretty sure that's what engineers did in your game today, Rainier, if you're still here. Alchemists, I feel like, haven't been explored too much, though I've seen some games of theirs where they're heavily in the north, and that seems to go well enough. Mr. Leach jumping to Fakirs here. Engineers are now at 18, which means Alchemists are going to be the 30 faction? Feels a little wrong. I think I'll tick Fakirs down after this Engineer's bid gets beat. A lot of decent town space for Fakirs. Well, the Fakirs don't really need town space in general, but you like H5 reasonable? Yeah, with mermaids in the game, it's likely to be taken pretty early. The thing I don't like about mermaids here is that I don't think they fit the track that nicely. Like, they're fine. They're gonna have a solid game, but they're a bit low on coins. The other three factions specialize in the lower coin games in some sense. Fakir's just immediately down to 27. I think I have the good deal right now then. But I don't want to go too far before jumping on Alchemists. I think I do often overvalue Alchemists, but they are just incredibly strong when they get what they want. Choosing two spots before mermaids pick, well, being third in turn order when your color neighbor is first is always a bit annoying. The double dig versus Earth 1 tension is going to be very high in this opening, I think. Alright. So I said I would bid Fakirs down to 29 when Engineers got taken at 16. Which means I think Fakirs are about 12 different. But Fakirs are bid on here. I don't think Fakirs are necessarily 6 better than Alchemists. Oh, maybe they are here. Would I play Engineers for 11 or Alchemists for 30? I really don't understand the Mermaids bids here. I'll say it one more time. I just don't. If I end up with Alchemist, the goal will be to be Temple round 1, Stronghold round 2. And that's pretty good. And then keep the power perhaps for digging in round 3. Like keep the 12 power bonus from the Alchemist Stronghold for digging in round 3. And then counting in round 4. Yeah, this all seems fine. Maybe Fakir's -9 is still better than Alchemists here, though. Which means I probably have the differential between engineers and fakirs wrong. I think I do have to admit that I'm slightly overvaluing engineers compared to fakirs, though I think currently my position is good. It shouldn't be 12. I'll revise that down to 10. Would I rather pay fakirs for 20? Maybe. So current priorities are engineers at 11, fakirs at 20, alchemists at 30 in that order. I think that's where my bidding is going to be. But right now I like where I am. And this is where I land. So Mr. Leach is on mermaids. Galaquani's on fakirs. I'm on engineers. Capetta's on alchemists. Well, mermaids opening h4. Not what I expected. I'll take c4 right now. I'm probably going to take h5. But maybe not. I don't like h4 very much compared to e4. I just noticed something. Isn't this group of hexes exactly the same on base map? Like these three, these two, and this one? Or are they slightly different somehow? No, it's like E7's gray, E6 would be green. No, E6 would be brown. Well, like this is... These four is exactly the same as the Eastern black, blue, brown, black, and gray here. Alchemists do open b4. Fakirs, I would hit d4 and d7. I had success the one game I played them there. As stated, Engineer's land bridge on e7 is fun. It's definitely a possibility. Engineer's landscape is no prereq, right? No prereq. Fakir's on a5. Well, that's definitely good for me if they don't do d4. It opens so much space on the C row. They do take d4, though. That means a lot of the yellows out west are going to be cheap or easily accessed, and I'm the best suited on the color wheel. Well, alchemists are suited nicely for it also. If I'm alchemists, I probably go f7. I mean, the black-gray synergy out there is really strong, especially with the Engineer's landscape. Fakir's not contesting e5 is really nice for me, actually. That's very nice. a5 is going to be good leech. It gets a potential town slot over there, but... h5 is okay at this point, but I probably would just rather not. Mermaids have an easy, fun town with these 4 hexes, connecting over this river hex, only if they have a neighbor, and if alchemists don't get the g5 on time. e3. This whole game is going to be contested in the west? Is that what's happening here? Why are people doing this? I mean, it's good for me, right? I don't think Alchemist gave himself enough space here. Okay, so in terms of opening tile... Gonna want to plan here. E6 is just gonna be neighborless forever. Probably just have to take H5 here. Mermaids take E4. Yeah, wow, we're in a battle right off the bat. C3 is going to be huge for me. Absolutely huge. Figures take the spade. I would expect them to spade C3 their first action if they can. Alchemists take worker power. I don't have a great leech position here, actually. I might just want to take temp ship and dig C3, G3. Or G2. Temp ship prevents mermaids from getting temp ship. They can take a priest. Do mermaids want double dig? I mean, kind of. We'll see if they want it badly enough. Temp ship is fine. It makes it kind of unlikely that I'll get a huge engineer's opening. They do take double dig. That's fine. Do I risk isolating C3 or C4? I might. Who would take single spade? Alchemist still might take single spade. I think this hex is too good for me here. Which is unfortunate. But I really think that once I take C3, my map concerns drop by a boatload. Mermaids are not close to C2 right now. I'm not in the early leech parties, which is unfortunate. And it looks like I might lose Earth 1. This actually might be the wrong hex to... Am I gonna undo already? Yeah, I mean, having the double dig in round 1's quite nice, but... Yeah, Mr. Leach likes it. I give him 1 instead of Fakir's 1. Alright, so then... I'm kind of interested in the workers action. I'm kind of interested in the coins action. If I do lose Earth 1, as Alchemists take Earth 1 here, I don't actually have enough stuff to do double temple yet. If I do go double temple, I think the play is Water 2. Fakirs and Alchemists don't do well on cults. I think I have a good cult game here. Don't really want to burn down yet, but... yeah. Water 1, you think, Mike? Water 1's reasonable. I think I do go through the priest here, though. I think Water 2 is actually going to be better. And I did claim Fancy Play Syndrome for some of my Terra Mystica streams, so we're gonna Fancy Play Syndrome some Water 2 here. This was secretly a Fancy Play stream that you didn't know about also. Alchemist could 5-power a priest. I mean, with spades being this tight... Alchemists are hard digging? I've done this before. And I can't recommend it. I could go Water 1, Water 2. Water 2 next round. It gets me 3 more points and I lose a cult step. Water 2 is a lot of points here, right? Because my opponents are going to be so bad on cults this game. I just took priest to water for 3 on mermaids. I guess no matter what, my second temple has to be earth 2. So this could be water 1 earth 2 or water 2 earth 2. Into 5-power priest for 2 digs. Now we're talking, Danny B. Double econ NGs on a not great NG track. I think I don't have the willpower to do it. Capetta builds a bridge that... okay, hard dig bridge. It's very expensive. Let's see. 2 people have passed already. Fakirs are double digging, right? Where are they double digging? They actually don't have a good second dig spot. Mermaids aren't double digging. Can I get double dig? Well, I have a turn before Alchemist anyway. Might as well get the points that I signed up for, whether it's good or not. I'm doing it. Okay, so I'm gonna have all my things went off when I undid. This is a little bug. Hello. Yes, you were, Danny B, and in a perfect world, I would have done it. All right, so making 1 power could take 3 more. I mean, the big building tile is pretty good. It stops Alchemist from getting a stronghold down. I probably just have to take that. Round 2 stronghold would be extremely fancy. That's code for bad. Alright, so taking temp ship didn't work out. But, you know, I'm just gonna claim that nobody had a great opening here. Think of all the points. All 5 of them. With all... Oh, wow. That couldn't have been right. Alchemist should not be taking... Oh, what hex am I building or digging here? Is it G3 or C2? No reason to make C2 closer to my enemies. G3 guarantees connection and the rest of the map access to the rest of the map. So what Alchemist could have done here, instead of taking 7 coins, is take 2 workers this round. Fakir's setting up spot for themselves to double dig, which, as long as mermaids don't give me power, should work for them. Mermaids, priest to earth. Coins or dig? Single dig sucks. Coins don't suck. Okay. Alchemist send a priest to air for 1 worker. I don't like that. Fakirs take the workers. Mermaids bonus spade on I3. I mean, I'm not sure what anyone's really doing here. Now I'm wishing I cult dug G2. And if I got the coins... Well, no, I still don't have enough workers to do all that. I was thinking would I have enough to get to F3 and D3, but that's just probably not worth it. Well, I'll take my Earth 2 that I need because I'm playing engineers. We got 2 copies of Terra Steel there. Alchemist going Sanctuary. This is not optimal. The Stronghold is such a better building for them. Fakir's flying to F4. They might be taking G2. Didn't really expect that, but hopefully they just want F4 to get to G4. Mermaids build a couple more dwellings here. Alright, I don't have that much more to do. Getting double dig would be really nice. Alchemist pass for worker power. They're not going to have enough to double dig. Oh, maybe they do now. Sanctuary Fakirs out there when it's not going to be part of an early town? I don't like it. They do take air too, which is nice, but Fakirs really want a second temple in most circumstances. The problem with, like, Alchemists and Fakir's sanctuaries and why Swarmlings and Darkling sanctuaries are so strong is because the latter 2 produce 2 priests. These don't. Like, 2 temples is just better. They are making questionable decisions, so it's kind of scary. Agreed. I mean, I am someone who doesn't mind throwing their hands in the air and being like, if they want to do weird stuff, that's their prerogative. See, See, I'm actually 1 power short of double digging. That's no fun. So I could priest to air or earth here reasonably. At risk of pass order. And Fakir's getting double dig. Fakirs would take double dig. Fakirs are out of moves, right? So they are going to pass for double dig. I just have to burn? Oh, yeah, okay. I was wondering why it didn't add up in my head. Yeah, I don't know. My brain put the power tokens at 015 instead of 025. Mermaids, open up the spade tile for me. This is actually great. This is actually wonderful. Double dig G2, C2. Advance my ships. Or build a bridge. Maybe put the spade on E5 if I can get out there. Alchemists single digging. They've been very inefficient. I mean, they seem to have a good amount of resources, but they've done it pretty inefficiently. We do get 3 spades this round. That is correct. Pretty cool life here. Let's see. This one should be a dwelling. Fakirs can hit both of them. Mermaids can hit G2. Mermaids don't really want to hit G2. Maybe they do. Would Fakirs hit C2? Wow, this... Is anyone on temp ship? No, nobody. Mermaids have their 1 shipping, Fakirs have their 1 range. C2 means Fakirs never get a town there. Oh no, they're never getting a town there anyway. Unless they want to do a funky bridge thing. Mermaids could take this to hit their temple with a town. They're both double hard digs. Yes, but some people get more desperate if it forms a town, right? Because some people might overvalue towns. So I will build C2 next opportunity, but I think, I don't know, some people might rationalize it away with it being a spade round and if it gives them town space, but yeah, people are effing nuts, exactly. Trusting people? Why would you trust people? Only a fool would trust people. Alright, real talk, I don't actually know... Well, I know how my other dig is happening. It is going to be a bridge. And I did say I was going to take C2 here because I don't want to get ultra greedy and lose. Alchemist not taking water one's a little strange. I need to get on that air priest, or earth priest, except alchemists might take it right now. They do. Alright, well, guess I'm not getting that earth spade unless I get Tukey Town. Tukey Town's gonna be good for me though, I think. Mermaid's just hard dug somewhere. I won. That's a choice. Alright, would I rather advance ship or... Yeah, I'd rather advance ship than build a bridge with 2 workers. Fakirs are taking G4, seems fine to me. They are escaping the west with questionable town eventualities. I should figure out, it's not that urgent, but I should figure out what orientation I want my towns in. Because I should be able to form 3 towns here. I think I might just lose if I don't make 3 towns and win network. With Fakir's already at 47. Is it possible that I get a town between D3 and F1 this game? I need Fakirs on E2. Are Fakirs ever getting range? Questionable. So if I want that to happen... I probably should spend my spade somewhere out here. Stronghold out here, huh? Taking workers next? Alright, so I should take F3 and D3 right now. Scalaquani just apologizing for not noticing to end turn, probably. I do have this last priest, which I could send to fire. Mermaids take past ship VP, sure. I'm gonna take this hex, because alchemists are being suspicious. And then I'm gonna take D3, and then I'm gonna spend a spade on maybe B3. I don't feel threatened on F5, and I am connected. So I could escape via I4 to the south, or B6 to the north, like... You know, that's probably a very good third town. B6, B7, C7, and A8 or A9. That's probably my third town. Guaranteed to neighbor up there. Yeah. This next dwelling doesn't provide any income, which is unfortunate. I can bridge to E6. True. B6, B7, C7, land bridge, E6. The problem is I need a neighbor on near E6, but Fakirs will oblige if alchemists don't. Yeah, okay. My biggest issue is going to be having enough resources for towns next round. Because I want another coins action. Mermaids look like they're ready to double dig. But on one shipping, where would that even be? So maybe they are taking coins. Alchemists take temp ship. Fakirs do a second hard dig. See, Fakirs did end up doing 2 hard digs this round. I need 2 bridges and 4 trading posts or something like that. If I dig D2, then I need 2 bridges, 3 trading posts, and a dwelling, which is 1 coin less. Not sure if it's actually happening. This seems a little tough to do. If I place the landscape here, that does make it a lot more likely for me to finish 2 towns. It's more points to hit trading posts in 5. That's definitely true. If I build the landscape here, then I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 trading posts and 2 bridges, which is 3, 6, 7, 6. That might be doable. It is more points, and I can... I'm getting a lot of resources from the towns. I'm very tempted to try this. Getting 2 leech there. Getting 3 leech here. Okay, and I can pass to get the workers I need, but not have the coins I need. I'm not going to get the coins from any of these. Priest to fire. Yeah, I guess if I was getting the last pass regardless, I should, with 2 workers, then I should have priest to fire. That's correct. Can still do it here. Some crazy person could take the 2 key town. Also, the only priest remaining on anyone's board is Mermaid's Priest. They could do fire. They could go to fire. Let's see. We'll put it here. Not winning the race to 2 key town. I mean, I really think people would be losing out by stretching for it. Mermaids build a sanctuary on E4? Are they taking fire 2 and then gonna landscape between E4 and D6 and upgrade D6 to TP? They take water 1. Alchemists get double dig. It's an interesting pair. Let's see what alchemists take. Workers might be prudent here. Not placing the landscape on A6 seems like a mistake to me. You want that landscape down. That thing's good. Take the priest town? Okay. Sure, why not? Here's single dig. I might get the Tukey town after all. I am, right? Now that alchemists aren't taking it. Mermaids didn't take fire too. Still early enough to take 3 for 2s, though I should be somewhat cautious. Mermaids can now expensive trading post and get themselves a town, so if I want the 2 keys, I should grab it now. Which means this 3 for 2 is really 1.5 coins for 2 points, but that's okay. It's not great. You thought it was pretty good for Alex to take it? They could, but I think they're too much in priest debt for all their upgrades, even though they have the landscape. Like, I still feel like they're too deep in debt for priests to actually use those keys to win cults. It does give them a spade in round 5, but I don't think it gets them the extra bonus spade here. And that's just replacing a worker by that point. Would I be more willing to... Yes, I would be, Weber. Alright, amount of power I'm taking on Tukey Town is 5, so I need to downvert 2. Oh, no, I can just build the bridge. I can just build the bridge the normal way instead of spending my workers. Look at that. I figured it out. Two for 1s are definitely fine, unless I'm expecting a 1 for 0. I'm not. The next town I take should be a pointy one, whether that's 8 or 9 points, I'm not sure. I do have plenty of workers. I do have enough coins to get this done. This costs 4 and 4 to get 2 towns here. Am I giving up on 3 towns? No. I'm going to be expecting to be out on B6, B7, this zone. Stronghold in round 6 on top of a trading post out here. My 4th trading post goes out here. Hoping for Air 1 next round. I'm kind of coin short for what I want, but I'll have 3 trading posts up. Uh, 8-point town's actually also 5 power right now. Fakir's pass for the spade. They're doing okay. Fakirs are not having a best game. No priest pressure on any specific cult right now, so I'm just going to do some upgrades. Fakir's already passed. I mean, I'm probably going full culty. Everyone else has good points, so I should take as many cult points as I can. I identified from the start that this could be a nice cult engineers game. Double cult spades, and well, that's kind of aggressive, but we could try. So I am getting a cult spade now, and I would like to put it on B6, which means I do want another ship, which is Not in line with the other things I've been talking about. Oops. Well, no. 5 power is 2.5 coins. Mermaids are fighting water for some reason. Alchemists... Yeah, alchemists don't have the time to put these priests to cults. Or at least I'm completely not ready to see how this works on their end. I should offer alchemists 3 for 2. That's very expensive for them. I think it's a mistake for them to take it if they want. Mermaids take more workers? They did take fire too, and a cult town. Alright, this is actually very nice that I'm getting this leech. Because now I get to advance ship, cult dig B6, and build a dwelling on F5 if I want to get a worker income back. Fakirs passed early. They're now overcharged. What are they doing first action? It could be coins. What are they doing on 1 priest production? YouTube wants to know if I'm still here, I bet. There's that landscape for another town. Mermaids will have some nice points here. They do get to pass... Is this going to be a ship town? Yeah, because they're holding ship tile. Alright, so I know where my cult dig is going. Alchemist pass. So, what did I say my ideal round was? Something really stupid, like 2 dwellings, 2 trading posts, and water 1, or and air 1, 2, 4, 3, 8, 5, 10. Well, I have 5, so I don't really need to... Would I rather have Mermaid's Pass tile? I think I just would. I have enough dwellings to do it the silly way. Yeah. Yeah, you might have to riot if you're hoping for the 4 town. Building 2 7 power worth towns is a really hard way to make 4 happen. I'll just waste 2 of the power on this pass tile, but that is okay. I get points. Alright, cult digs for everyone except Fakirs. Oh, Mr. Leech, what are you doing, man? I'm sorry, George Shortwell. I did it so I could score 2 towns in the town round. Sue me. What is that cult dig? Oh, that's Mr. Leach. That's not alchemists. Oh my god, I'm dumb. Okay. I do think mermaids are my biggest competition here. So I probably just am supposed to turn it back to green. I'm not land bridging anywhere. I just needed the worker and coin value for a second town without fire too. So I disappointed everyone in the process. Yeah, you know that thing I said about, like, mermaids don't have an obvious expansion? I like that. I want it to stay that way. I don't have any other obvious third town spots right now. At least in my estimation. D7. I mean, yeah, I could try to race to D7. Mermaids, send priest to water. They're really trying to win the cult fight now. Well, what did I say? I wanted 4 of my power as coins. Awkward. No one's threatening double dig. So I just priest to air first. Or do I priest to water and make mermaid's life awkward? It's less digs than B6. I don't think mermaids would single dig B6. I think if they wanted B6, they would have hard dug it there. This is what I'm doing. Alchemists take G5. Okay, sure. Mermaids take water. Cult. Not sure how helpful that move actually is. This power might get wasted. Fire 2 for Fakirs. I assume they're taking Range Town. They do take Range Town. I mean, they need it. They have 6 flights only available by Range Town. I mean, their biggest problem this whole game has been not producing enough priests, I think. So much free leech. So much free leech. Yeah, mermaids can build around me all they want. They are welcome. They are welcome there. Let's see. I don't actually have to build B7 this round. It would be nice to. Fakirs unsurprisingly take d7. Their Western stuff is pretty... Well, I would take e2 quickly if I was them. So the Cult Spade, I did think about that, and a9 is available. Yeah, with the bridge, which I'm going to want anyway, right? So the biggest problem would be the worker income, but... Mermaids need those spots for trading posts, so the longer I stay in the round... Well, the problem with that is I don't have many moves left to stay in the round. My network chances look pretty good here. That's an interesting choice for Fakirs. I would have absolutely flown on to e2 and then spaded c7. It's probably correct for me to just pass. Yeah, I mean, mermaids aren't giving me any more. I get workers I need. Pushing for Temple Air 1 is nice, but it's just not going to happen great. And I mean, this is a great pass tile for me. 2 workers, 4 points, denial. Yeah, there's not much I should do here except this. I could Sanctuary, that's true. And I could even Sanctuary right there. Alright, so let's see, I'm going to have 9 and 12 max power, so I'm going to have 9 and 21. It does look like I'm going to get a bunch of seconds in cults, but you know, that's not bad. Could even like take Earth 3 on the Sanctuary. I should get 2 Leech somehow, which will let me bridge. Power bridge. How much have I won network by also is an important thing to keep track of. Depending on how many priests Fakirs can nab, I mean, this is a great pass tile for them. They do have 5 more hexes, so they could get to 16. Sanctuary for Air 1. Well, it depends on where I build it, right? So I could theoretically do Temple, Sanctuary, Trading Post, Stronghold, Dwelling, and I get my town. But that's more theoretical than actual, isn't it? Yeah, I commented on that earlier, George. We got 2 copies of Terra Steel in the spec zone. I probably will just need to get onto the remaining hexes to contest network as best as I can. Fakirs are going to have plenty, assuming they pass for the priests. Mermaids probably aren't contesting network here. Alchemists aren't really either, though they could if they want to, is usually the story with them. Mermaids do land on the ship tile. If I get to 3 ship, I have oh no, I already have access to E6. I would only gain access to F1. Taking away E2 against Fakirs has a fair bit of value for me. Though they could dig F2 instead and be okay. Nobody's going to end on the dwelling scoring tile. I'm fine with that. A9 or something else. I think it's probably just A9. C7's a tiny bit risky. I think I have enough workers for this. Going into the last round with 62 points is not where I wanted to be. Yeah, I mean, mermaids want coins bad enough. That's a good enough reason for me. Mermaid's priest to fire first move. Fakir's double dig. I5 H7. Interesting. Trying to make a town here instead of just taking all your natural yellows seems like a mistake to me. I think carpet flying dwellings out when you have Earth 1 is totally good enough. Three, 6, 4, 8, 5, 9, 6, and 10 for my town. 8 and 10. I should priest to fire. The I5 dig is unnecessary. It's probably unnecessary, yeah. Yeah, right, because they have a neighbor on I8. And they took fire too. Yeah, that's very strange. They're gonna hard dig and end at 14 network. No, they can place one more. So they're gonna end at 15 still. No, they're not. They don't have another dwelling. They need to hard dig. Seems wrong. They could take a worker town maybe, or power town. No, the power actions are already gone. Wow. I haven't played too many arena games this season, but the ones I have, the dig actions seem to fly off the board super fast. What is it with people playing Fakirs and not carpet flying? Dude. I wish I knew. I really wish I knew. And I mean, at the same time, I kind of don't want to know, right? Like, it's kind of an ugly truth, I'm pretty sure. So I think I should take this hex pretty soon. Mermaids are getting a town up here with getting to 13 network. This is 14 for them. They look too low on resources to get more than that. Mermaids need 2 more leech. Yeah. They do look a little short on coins. There is a hard dig for fakirs. And they're just going to be done. Or are mermaids gonna... Oh no, they have to use their priest as a worker and they still might not get there. Let us hope that they don't. I don't think alchemists are particularly a concern here. They do dig B3. Are you placing the landscape there? Yep. Okay. Sure, why not? Fakirs could reach A9. So I'll be paranoid. Could take the bridge action. All right, so 3, 6, 4, 8, 3 power after burning. So I have 3 and 9 left. That is enough for a sanctuary. Yeah, I mean, a 9-point sanctuary plus, yeah, 13-point sanctuary seems fine. Is Air 1 gonna run out? No. Should I take Earth 3 instead? Yes. I have approximately 1 million resources. Yes, indeedy. And yes, Gray, I just realized that, but appreciate the point out there for sure. And I'm sure you thought of it before I did. Practically Hordlings level. Did you see Jesse G's ongoing TM Tour game? Did you see my TM Tour game when I advanced out of D2? That's some actual Hordlings. You know, keep the same workers to coins ratio, but, you know, take the number I have for coins and turn it into the workers number and keep the ratio. That's some real Hordling stuff. Or, you know, the Rainier stream from a couple weeks ago where I won on the 10 Hordlings resource points. Also a classic. Alright, so alchemists are getting a town. They don't have Fire 2 yet, though. They're in for a interesting path to their towns. If I offer this to them... Wait, do I actually want this? I do. I think I take a worker town or a priest town to get the resources, the last resources here. Worker town, and then does Earth 3 give me enough leech? Mermaids pass, so yeah, I'm taking Earth 3. I do think I need to build the town first, though. Did my dwelling mess up my chances at sanctuarying? Did I mess that up? Four, 8, 6, 8. I'm out of... Oh, no. 4, 8, and power. Yeah, no, so I'm okay. Yeah, Mermaid's not making their third town even with Fire 2 there. Alchemists look like they're trying to win network, which, you know, whatever. Wait. I'm so confused. They need to spend a lot of points to make their town here. I haven't scored any points this round, so that's fun. Galakwani does find the power here for a priest action. Oh, and they're going to get a 15th structure. Good for them. Yeah, I don't have any other move here. Delayed it as long as I can, and I have to give Alchemists an option that they don't care about. Because it's a point for 2 leech, or a point for a coin. They should probably take it. Just in case they get enough power for a worker somehow. Fakirs played pretty inefficiently at the end here for their network, I feel like. Though I didn't count them specifically. Okay. And it looks like, yeah, it'll be a 3-way tie for 15 network here. That's alright. I'm going to get 24 cult points. Mermaids have 3, 11, 15 cult points, so I'm up by 9 on them there. I'm passing for 8 plus 9 is 17. It's going to be close between me and Mermaids, I guess. I'm assuming Fakirs don't have... They have 5 cult points. Alchemists have 10, 12. And they get this town. Okay. They take the priest town. Oh, I forgot my town. This leech doesn't give Fakirs a point. And I forgot the points on my trading post. Exactly, George Shortwell. And I mean, each carpet costs, what, a priest and a worker? You have Earth 1? It's so good! Carpet clowns for life. Yeah, I mean, that's true too, right, Gray? I mean, even one more flight here is better. It is just the main idea overall, though. Fakir's not flying very optimally this game. My sanctuary goes in the south because mermaids are past. Oh! 2 priests and 5 points to get 5 points. Take 1 away from me. Interesting. I guess the priests aren't doing much. But I mean, I feel like, why don't you just take the 11-point town then? That was weird. I mean, Air 3 and Air 1 are the same to me. I can actually temple here, right? Don't have any hexes. Hex check. Hex check. Fails. Alright, so trade 1 point for 3 points. I built all my bridges. Air 1 is better than anything else I can find. I think that's the right explanation on my end. Okay, so I feel like I did decently well here. I passed for approximately 1 billion, which I didn't get to see. And I am going to have the highest score before network scoring, so this is a win. Earth 1-less engineers win. Where we almost took water 2. Remember when I was worried about my VP? Yeah. But I mean, I end at 136, which isn't amazing, right? And, Alright, so as might be evident, I don't play much Arena here, but we do make Silver League today. Water 2 might have actually been correct. See George Shortwell, always correct. So yeah, good times, good times. It cost you a cult spade to not get it. Yeah, I mean, the cult spades mid-game were really nice for everyone except alchemists, who still got, I mean, I don't know, like, the style of some of how this got played by everyone else is pretty far from my style of play. Thank you, George Shortwell, yes. I don't know what people were bidding on mermaids for either. You know, the map is called Loon Lakes. You got to expect the mermaids are good there, right? So how did I do this? 21 favor isn't that much worse than everyone else. So that's 18 water 1, 3 air 1. 22 cult is always nice. Tidewind network. Took adequate towns. Passed decently. Only Mr. Leach was playing mermaids. Mermaids attacked the ship tile a tiny bit. I mean, yeah, I don't really know. Mermaids -5 leech didn't situate themselves well here. We all got east except for mermaids. That's because they were too busy trying to take b6. Alright, well, engineers, I have now played them on this map and can confirm that there were just way enough options. A little late for me to be telling people I streamed the game, but there we are. Let's see. Been live for almost 3 hours here. Let's see. I did start this stream by playing St. Petersburg, which is another game here on Board Game Arena. I'm pretty highly rated in that one. I was thinking of playing a Seven Wonders here. I did get in opening a game, but nobody joined. I need to play a game so my rating shows back up here, though if I do this, I think it says what my ranking would be. It says it somewhere that I saw. I swear I saw my rating somewhere. This is probably not worth searching for. Also played a little Geoguessr while waiting for the very long queues in St. Pete and Terra Mystica Arena. So definitely watch the beginning hour of my stream if you're interested in seeing any of that. I will see if there's a Seven Wonders game going right now. 4-player. No, there's not. Okay, so I'll finish up this Geoguessr country streak that I started. And otherwise, thanks for watching this Terra Mystica game. It was a fun time. And yeah, let's take care of this. Oh, right, we had a sign down there in Spanish. It's like, this is an autonomous municipal region or something. Something Ibarra. If anyone doesn't know Geoguessr, you are dropped into a random Google Maps Street View, and you have to guess where you are. This specific game is a country streak, so I'm just trying to get as many countries right in a row as possible. Bienvenidos, Ibarra. Autodromo Internacional Jose Tobar Tobar. That does not ring any bells for me. I mean, this place is pretty nice. I would visit here. Yeah, George Shortwell, this stuff is awesome. Myself, Gray, and NerdCube have been playing a fair bit of this recently. We've all gotten decently experienced. It is a pain to stream this, though. The bandwidth doesn't really line up great. Hey, Hubert. Yeah, we're in Latin America somewhere. I'm glad it looks like that to you, because we did see signs that said something like San Miguel de Ibarra. I don't remember exactly. Something Ibarra. I've gotten Singapore a few times, and I always think about you, Hubert. I'm like, that's a nice place that you live in. Okay. There's more information here. This is El Manaba. Is that a business name? San Alfonso. This place has a pool and a sauna. And hydro massage. Ecuador. That says Ecuador. Laguna de something, 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 Ecuador. I'm playing this mode with no time limit. Alright, if this isn't Ecuador, then I get to end the stream. It's Ecuador. The key is find the signs. And know some generic rules of what things look like. Ozdemir, that looks pretty Turkish to me. The landscape could be Turkish. Turkey is pretty diverse in what it looks like. Just want to get some confirmation here. With more signs, perhaps. I left the town. I don't want to leave the town. Let's get back in town. Aha! Well, that keeps looking Turkish, but also that name looks Greek. So, Greece and Turkey are neighbors. All right, and this is more Turkish. Okie dokie. Southeastern Turkey. Next. We're on a boat. Because we're on a boat, this is the only clue we're going to get is this flag. This is a problem. Because I can't see the middle of that flag. And let me show you all what I'm talking about here. So Ecuador's flag, yellow top half, blue, red. Yellow top half, blue, red. Yellow, blue, red. Venezuela has some stars in the middle. Colombia doesn't have anything in the middle. Ecuador has this little bird type symbol in the middle. How am I supposed to tell which is which? I'm on a boat. Oh! The wind coming in clutch. It's the one with nothing in the middle. It was not the one with nothing in the middle. Note to self. Boat with this flag is in the Galapagos. What a round. What a round. Alright, well, I don't have to keep this up for a stream. I did hit 81 the other day on my own, and that would have been many hours on a stream. And yeah, I've been going almost 3 hours here, which is way longer than I usually go. So thanks again all for tuning into this variety-ish stream here. Hope you have